Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of videos about games and the people who played them. And now, here's your host, Joe Steadman.
Joe Steadman, and I'm pretty excited because GMT just redid one of my top 10 games, and I just got it in the mail. Just got done playing a game of it actually with a coworker, and here it is. Washington's War. This is a remake of the Mark Herman's We the People, one of my top 10 games of all time. It's the card-driven game of the Revolutionary War. Now, he remade the game, changed some things, some mostly good, a few that personal preference things I don't like, or not dislike, but I preferred the old way. Maybe I'm just weird. But overall, great. Awesome components. Made for a faster game with the new rules. And let me show you the components, and then I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts and the rule changes. Alright, so here we have everything that comes with the game. We got your cards, all new art, nice cards, good high quality, glossy cards. I like them a lot. Alright, then you got your combat units, color coded, nice big ones, political control markers, double sided. Talk about that in a minute. Got your generals that stand up, and if you don't like the generals that stand up, you have the little small versions, but I like the stand-up generals. It kind of gives a cool feel to the battlefield. And there's extra little things out in the stand. One of my minor complaints is that these are a little bit too big, and so the generals are going to fall out of your little holders while you're playing the game quite a bit. So I'm going to see if I can't figure out a way. See, because even in a bag, it's falling off the thing. The old ones never came off. Comes with a red and a blue dice, appropriate colors. And your bags comes with two of these double-sided cardstock cheat sheets that got all the sequence of play, how to do battle, which is totally different in this version. Full color rule book, and a playbook, which basically has a full turn example, blow by blow, how to play. And let's not forget the cool thing that comes with is the board. Now the board is a hard-mounted European style game board. Oh, that big baby! Oh my goodness! I'll spread that out there. The size of that thing. Here's the board. It's really a thing of art. He's really cleaned it up. Still color coded for the different states. It's if you're familiar with the game, streamlined some of the things. Put a little cheat sheet on here. It's got a French Alliance track, which is different, the game turns. So if you're familiar with We the People, there's a lot of similarities, but there's a few different things. I also give this little mnemonic device here of keeping track of who's winning the game. So, it's pretty nice. One little small issue with this new production is these are what are used to help you keep track of who is winning on the mnemonic device of the states. So they included 3 that were double-sided, and then they gave you 6 that were all American and 6 that were all British, which I think must be a printing error, because there's no reason to have the all-sided ones. You don't have enough to keep track during the game with the way it's set up now, and they should have just made them all double-sided. But I don't know. Maybe someone can explain to me that one. Alright, so it's a great game. One of my top 10 games. This new production is awesome, and I don't know if my old game will get any playtime. I'll probably eBay it. Won't be worth a whole lot now, and so I recommend it. Pick up a copy of GMT. It's a new game they have out now. This next section is kind of how the difference is in this game and the old game. So if you've never played the old game, you can just end it now. One thing that he did when he redesigned it was he changed the battle system. The old system used battle cards, and you get different amount of cards for your advantages, like modifiers. If you have British regulars, you get 1 card. If you have the militia, you get so many cards. And what he did was he just simply made it much simpler. He got rid of the cards, and then he just replaced them with modifiers. So you roll a 6-sided die, then you add all your modifiers, and a high die roll wins. The attacker wins ties. So it's a lot faster. It's just not as fun. That's just a preference thing for me. I love playing the cards to see if your opponent had the matching card, then initiative, and there's no initiative in this either, as far as taking the initiative and going back and forth, which I just really enjoyed. And then he added the French come in a little differently. Each time you win a battle, there's a little track on the board. As the American player, you get the French closer to coming into game. There's a few event cards that will move that track along. You can, in We the People, if you drew an enemy event card, you were kind of stuck. Your only option was to discard it. Well, in this version, I like this a lot. Instead of just having no option, you still discard, but now you get a 1-op. And it's not just a 1-op, but it's a special 1-op that allows you to remove an enemy PC marker that's adjacent to one of your own PC markers, which you couldn't do in the old game at all unless you had a special card that lets you do that, and that's really neat. And your opponent, though, can pick up that card off the discard pile on his turn and exchange it for one of his own cards. So the cards are being cycled through much faster. Each card's going to get played for the most part. There's a few ways to hide your cards, kind of reminiscent of Twilight Struggle. So if you discard a card during battle, you can discard an opponent's strategy card during battle to give you a +1 to your die roll. You can only use one card that way, but you can get a really good opponent card and discard it at that point, and he can't pick it up during a battle. He kind of streamlined the French as well. Now they blockade whole sets of cities, like 2 or 3 cities at a time, and there's a few little things here and there that he adjusted, but the game feels exactly the same, and it's a little faster. So one little thing I did was for the die roll modifiers, they can be quite intensive, and all that really matters is who wins. So what I did was I added a second die for each player to keep track of their modifiers, because once you get more than 6, it's irrelevant, because if you have add 6 to a d6, the opponent can't win. And so you have your die that you roll, but then your second die you just kind of rotate it, and it shows you. Or you can use the die that you have and rotate it. And it's just the difference that matters. So if you get 5 for your CUs and your opponent has 5 CUs, you can just, those cancel each other out, so neither one of you get one. If he has British regulars, but you have the militia, they cancel each other out. If he has, just so so you just do the math like that, and then you can, the battles halfway through the game, you're going to be doing it real fast. So the battles do go a lot faster. All right. So I'm really excited. So, and it should be much easier to play on the internet now without having to use the ACTS, ACTS. It's just simple die. You can use a dice bot for that. So, cool. Well, until next time.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.